Now let me talk about the integration game plan. Now this game plan is my word given to that. It's not a standard term from MuleSoft. Integration game plan means what? What will be your role after this program? You will be integration developer. You will be Mule for developers specifically, right? So you as a Mule for developer, what you are supposed to do on the ground? All the time, what you are going to do, that I'm going to tell you in this integration game plan. So today we will talk about this integration game plan. You as the Mule4 developer, what you are supposed to do in your integration project. Let me note it down. So integration game plan that we are discussing, and what is that? As a Mule4 developer, what you will be doing in your Mule project. So whatever projects you develop, in that what you are supposed to do. Okay, what exactly you do in the Mule project. That's what I'm going to reveal in this integration game plan. Let me expand that. Okay, let us focus on this one only. So whenever we say that Mule4, so Mule4 is which kind of product? What we say? Mule is an EAI product that we said, right? Now, what do you mean by EAI? Can you tell me the full form of EAI? What is that? Quickly, if somebody can help me recall. I forgot about that. What is the full form of EAI? Yes. Enterprise Application Integration. Very good. So, enterprise application integration. I'm not going to get into definition of that again. We already talked about that. Now, Mule is an EAI product. Now, if I say what an EAI product does, doesn't matter Mule or Oracle AIA or IIB or Dell Boomi or maybe TIPCO, what an EAI product does. Can you tell me what it does? In one liner, if I ask you to specify what is the job of EAI product? What is the job of EAI product? Let me see. Did I see? Yeah, it's enterprise application integration. That's correct. What is the job of an EAI product? Integration of the applications. That's very good, Rahel. Integration of application, communication between two applications. Okay. Okay. Integration means what? Whenever you say two application, you are integrating them with each other. What does it mean? What does it mean? Integrating two application, what it's for communicate, that's okay. But whenever you say two application integrate and EI product is sitting in between, why they cannot talk to each other? Why we require EI product sitting in between? Why we require EI product sitting in between two application which we want to integrate? So what is the job of EI product? The job of, let me specify that, okay, bridging the communication gap, Tamrat. Very good. So that's what, okay. So bringing both application on the same term, Srikant, the same thing. Okay, let me write it down. Srikant, Tamrat, you're sounding same, both of you. Let me write it down. It bridges communication gap between two applications. As simple as that. Okay, so that's what I have written in the mind map. If you see, bridge communication gap, that is what is the job of EI product. Now, this communication gap, now I'm becoming technical. I'm becoming very technical. This communication gap can happen on two front, data format front or communication mechanism front. Now, before I becoming too much technical and get into these all terminologies, let me give you one analogy. Okay, data format front, that's what I said, that whenever I say EI product, whenever I say I do have EI product, so it is used to bridge the communication gap. So let me write down the word communication gap. And that communication gap on two fronts. That's what I'm saying. One is data format, and another is communication mechanism. So way of communication, you know, it is communication mechanism. Okay. Okay. Sorry, there was some noise, so I told her to speak in a low volume. Okay. So let me give you the analogy. Firstly, analogy, and technically, then we will understand that. Analogy. Now, the analogy is what? Two analogies I'm going to give you. Two examples I'm going to give you, which are daily life example. Let's say I do have, this is, maybe you said somebody, whatever you put the name as. Let's say Robert. This is Robert. Okay. And let's say, and this one is French person. So he's from France. Okay. Then we do have, let's say Daniel. Daniel, just give me a second. Okay. So Robert is there from France and Daniel is there from Germany. They, both of them do not know English. So English is out of question. And they do have formal relationship. It's not like they will call each other and they will talk to each other. It's not like that. There is no verbal communication happening between these two people. Robert is sending an email to Daniel, and Daniel is also sending an email and receiving the email and all. That is what is happening from Daniel's side also. Okay. So now what is happening, whatever email is there, this email. So as I told you, Robert do not know English. So this email is in French language. Okay. And this email is in German language. So what will happen? Whatever mail which is sent by Robert cannot be understood directly by Daniel. And whatever mail which is sent by Daniel, which is in German language, that will not be understood by Robert. So what we will need here, we will require some middleman. We will require some translator, right? So there will be some translator. Okay, there will be some translator which will be translating from French to German, German to French. That's what will happen. Now, this is very similar to data format level communication gap. So here, communication is not happening between Robert and Daniel verbally. There is no message exchanges happening. There is a written communication is happening. So Robert is generating some data item, which is an email in French language that is not understood by Daniel. And Daniel is generating some data item, which is in German language, which cannot be understood by Robert. Translator bridging the gap. So this is very similar to your data format level communication gap. Okay, so here we said email French and email German. In data format, we do have different data formats which can be used by applications. So which are those data formats? Let me show you that. Let me show you here. I don't have that data format, but I'll put it here. So the data format is, first is you can have flat files as the data format. Okay, so without unstructured file, soon we will get into that. After that, I do have CSV files. These are text file, but these are structured file. CSV, can somebody tell me the full form of that? What is that? CSV, CSV file, or it can be XML files. Okay, these are different data format, XML, CSV. So that file is anyway the implicit word, So CSV, XML, these are structured file, CSV stands for correct. So that is comma separated value. That's correct. XML, extended markup language. Then we do have JSON. This is another file format. Then there is one more data format, which is nothing but databases. Okay, so whatever source application is there, either it will be generating flat files, or it will be generating CSV file, or it will be generating XML content or JSON content, or it will be putting their data in the databases. Soon we will get into that. What do you mean by databases and all that will be there. So there is a communication gap. So what kind of communication gap on the data format front? Let me use the another board. Let me open the another board. Yes. So data format communication gap, how technically it can be there. Let's say, so let me put it, this is one, which is data format level communication gap that can happen. So most of the time you will be writing the project, you will be developing the mule project, which will be bridging the communication gap on data format. Okay, so maybe you have the source application. This is your source application, and you do have the destination application. Source application and destination application is there. Okay, and source is generating some data, so that can be, let's say, XML, and destination want in some other data format, let's say JSON. And XML to JSON transformation, that will be taken care by your mule application. So there will be mule application in between, which will be bridging the communication gap, which will be data format level or data format front communication gap. So what I'm trying to say, half of the time you will be busy in doing data format level communication gap. That's what. Okay, so let me just shrink this. So that is data format front communication gap. Then second one, any doubt about data format front communication gap? So what I'm trying to say, look at the integration game plan. I'm trying to give you the big picture now. You as a mule developer will be bridging communication gap on data format front. So source is giving some data format, destination is wanting some data format, and your project, mule project, will be bridging that gap. So maybe XML to JSON transformation, JSON to XML transformation, CSV to JSON transformation, XML to CSV transformation. All the time you are doing that kind of projects. This is one part. Now let me come to the other part, which is communication mechanism front. So data format front is over now. Now communication mechanism front. What I mean by that? Communication mechanism front. So I wrote it here. So communication mechanism, let me put that word properly. It is way of communication. I'm making it very simple, so that without any jargon, without any technicality, you will understand that. Way of communication. Way of communication, right? So communication mechanism is nothing but way of communication. What do you mean by way of communication? Let me give you analogy for that. Analogy is nothing but day-to-day life example, you know. Not sure whether analogy word you have used before. Generally, we use this word, you know, casually, analogy word. Okay, so analogy is a mapping of your technical concept with a day-to-day life example. So let me give you the analogy. Let's say there are two friends. Purposely, I'm not using any names from the batch because these examples are a little weird. So let me use, like, let's say there is Sandy and there is Andy. Sandy and Andy, they are friends. Okay, or maybe let me use Anna. So Sandy and Anna, they are friends, right? Now, the problem with Sandy is he is deaf and dumb. He cannot hear anything. He cannot speak anything. The problem with Anna is she is blind. Okay, so again, here they are not sending mail to each other, you know. Written communication is not happening. There is no question of data format. Verbal communication is happening. So there is a communication happening between these two applications. One is sender, another is receiver, and they are sending messages to each other. That's what is happening. That's a communication. Now the way of communication. The way of communication for Sandy is what? That's a verbal communication is out of question. Sign language. Am I right? So sign language will be the way of communication for Sandy because he cannot speak, he cannot hear. So there is no question of verbal communication. Anna, Anna is blind, but she can very well speak. She can very well listen, hear. So that's what the way of communication for Anna is verbal communication. Now, here is the gap. Way of communication for both of these two people are different. There is a gap, right? And that kind of gap will be also breached by somebody who is middleman. So maybe there is a middleman. There will be some middleman who will be doing the translation, who will understand the sign language, who will understand the verbal communication, take the verbal communication, convert that into sign language. So that translator will take care of that job, you know. Whatever the message from Sandy in the sign language, he will understand because he know how to understand sign language. He convert that into verbal and pass it on to the Anna. Pass it on to Anna. Anna will verbally tell him something. He will convert that into sign language and pass it on to the Sandy. Make sense? So communication way is different for these two applications. So which are the different communication ways, by the way? Let me tell you that technically, which are the communication ways for application? Let me come back here. Communication ways are communication mechanism. Instead of using communication way as a general term, communication mechanism. So that is JMS or web services. And if you go to web services, you will have HTTP web services, you have SOAP web services, you have REST web services. So half of the time you as the Mule developer will be working on data format front gap or communication mechanism front gap or mix of that also. Okay, mix up that again. That is another complication. So you as a Mule developer will be bridging the communication gap on the communication mechanism front also. So maybe you are dealing with JMS, which is Java messaging service. Maybe you are dealing with web services and all. So technically, what kind of scenario will be there? Let me put here. So communication mechanism front, what will be the scenario? So it will be communication mechanism. Communication mechanism. Okay. And it will be like I do have source and I do have destination application. And what I'm going to do is that the source, that's correct. Srikant is asking JMS Q, so it's like MWQ. Yeah, Q concept and all is same across, you know. JMS is the standard basically, which is used by various servers, various applications, various vendors, even TIPCO, IBM, and MuleSoft, everybody. So that's quite standard. So whatever queues and all you are talking about, that's same. Okay. Then what I have is, that's fine. Right. So this source application is communicating something. Let's say this is the Java application and it is communicating something in JMS. Maybe it is putting the data in the queue. Now we don't know JMS terminologies as of now. That's why I will not get into that. But this application is like SOAP web service, SOAP based web service, you know, that's what. Okay. So whenever you say that there is a communication gap now, source is dealing with JMS, the way of communication. Now, way of communication is what? Now, let me dissect that further. Okay, you will amaze to see that. What do you mean by communication mechanism? I'm dissecting this word now. So, there are two things involved over here. So, packaging way, whatever message you are sending, how you are going to package that, that is the packaging way. Okay, how you are going to package the message. Okay, in JMS the message packaging is different. In web services the message packaging is different. In web services also, in REST web service the message packaging is different, and SOAP web service message packaging is different. So packaging way of the message, that is one thing. Another one is transport way. So what do you mean by transport way? Way of sending the message over the network. So in JMS, way of sending the message over the network is different. And in web services, the way of sending message over the network is different. In the REST web service different, in HTTP based web service different, in SOAP web service different. Everywhere the transport way is different. So point is, whenever I say source application is putting JMS, so the packaging way of that JMS is different. The transport way of the JMS is different, and web services, it is also different, the packaging and transport. So this has to be bridged by you as a Mule developer. So what you will do, you will develop the Mule app, which will be bridging the communication gap between these two applications. So I'm using this term, this color basically, even if it's not visible on the white background, because all the time I will be using the same color to represent the Mule app in all my drawings on the blackboard. This time I took the whiteboard, so that's why I will stick to that. Okay, so Mule app will be taking the JMS stuff, convert that into web services stuff, and give it to the destination application. So what I'm trying to say is that, let's say, let me have this. Okay, so suppose you as a Mule developer, this is you. I'm telling you the big picture now. So sometime you will be developing Mule app like this. Sometime you will be developing Mule app like this, or sometime it is hybrid as well. Let me put it hybrid in front of you. So sometime it will be hybrid. So let me put it third one, that will be hybrid. So hybrid means what? Communication mechanism and data format both together. So suppose your source application is generating some file, let's say CSV file. Okay, and your destination application, what it want, it is a SOAP based web service. What is SOAP and all, you will understand later on, not to worry at this point of time. As long form, it is simple object access protocol. Otherwise, don't worry about SOAP much. Okay, then this will be expecting the message in the SOAP format. So this is hybrid way of app, you know. So this also will be breached by the Mule app. So what it will do, it will pick up the CSV and that will be converted into web service. So Mule app will be there and that will be doing that. Okay. So this is hybrid kind of application. So you as a Mule developer, sometime you will be developing hybrid Mule app also, which is on one side taking the data format and on the other side it is communication mechanism. So it may be doing that. So what I'm trying to say, my simple intention was, you as a Mule developer, what all you do on the ground. You develop Mule app which will breach communication gap, which is on two front, data format and communication mechanism. Which all data format we are going to deal in this course, and those are the only data format which we deal in integration. These are the different data format, what I jotted down. Okay, and then which communication mechanism? This communication mechanism. So integration game plan means what you do, what game you play in the MuleSoft development. That's what I mean by integration game plan.